Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sunset Stitches. My name is Trevor Conquergood, and this is Free Font Friday for June the 28th. And so I hope everybody's having a wonderful day today. I want to give a shout out to my nephew, George Conquergood. It's George Cooper, actually. Get that right, Trevor. Birthday. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Gio. Hey, Cindy, how is it going? Nice to see you this afternoon. What's it like in Michigan? Is it nice out? It's kind of chilly up here in Sasky. It has not been hot summer so far. We've had rain, which we're all very grateful for, because Saskatchewan's been almost in a drought, for quite a few years. So this has been the most unusual spring with the rain. Yeah. Oh, Cindy says they're getting light drizzle. So me and you both. And Anne, how's it going from Virginia? Welcome. Good morning. How's it going today? It's so great to have you guys drop by the studio. This is, of course, Free Font Friday. Before I forget, this is the free font of the week. It's called Vava Viking. And Nicholas and I were kind of laughing because he thought it looked like, Viking lettering. And so he gave it the name Vava Viking. But it's, of course, the newest font you can download. So good morning, good afternoon, Wanda, down there in West Tennessee. How's the weather? I heard it's hot and where you guys are. And Anne says the same, honey and sot. And she's long arming. Is that right? Well, good for you.
Said honey and salt.
I said honey and salt. Nicholas says I just said honey and salt. Thanks, Nick. Apparently I get my letters mixed up from time to time, and it's nice to have Nicholas here. That is my son. He is manning the controls over there behind the scenes. There he is. he doesn't have a webcam on his computer, and he doesn't want one, but anyway, you guys, it's nice to see you guys today. As always, we like to go live on Friday and celebrate the end of the week and the free font that we release every Friday. I do have some news, and that is that we will not be going live next Friday. In fact, we will still have a font next Friday, and we'll even put out like a short little video, about to announce the font kind of thing. But don't bother showing up at 3 p.m. Eastern time next Friday to catch us. And to be honest, beyond that, don't expect to come every Friday and be live with us. We're going to continue to go live every Wednesday and do the Digi Talk. And we're going to continue to do the font every Friday. But I think for at least the foreseeable future, what with it being so darn nice out here in Saskatchewan, I might get out of town early on some of those Fridays to get to the lake. So that's my plan. So all that said, if you want to hit me, visit with me and Nick live. If you have any questions, you want to ask us about anything embroidery related, drop by Digitalk on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. That will be kind of the once a week live, but we'll still post our things on the internet. And so, you can definitely be reminded to come once a week and pick up the free font. But these are some of the cute little Winnie the Pooh designs that I've been working on for the Digitalk classes. And so I don't know that they're classes. I don't really call them a class. I should take that back. Digitalk is really just me kind of hanging out on the internet, playing with my software. If I don't have anything else to do, I work on Winnie the Pooh. And I share the designs with the members. So anybody that's a member of my workshop, you get, they just kind of are part of your downloads that you get. But so I've been doing Winnie the Pooh, and you guys are welcome to come. So you can still collect the font. Every week I do a free font. You don't have to be a member to get the free font. But if you are a member, you can download them like anytime. You don't have to come every week. That's the only real difference, because we do a new free font every Friday. And if you visit every week, you can get them all. Isn't that one kind of cute? That's a real small one. Oh, Trevor, that's entirely upside down. No, it's still upside down. You think I remember I made it. I think it goes this way. It's a corner. Sorry. Whoa. So today we were going to go online. I just was going to show you guys a little bit of what I've been working on in the Digitalk classes. And we're going to go online and we're going to look at the font of the week. And I'm open to questions, you guys. I wanted to interact with you guys as much as possible today because that was really always my intention with going live, was to, not just say hi, but maybe some of you guys have been working on a project. Maybe you guys are working on your fireworks for, of course, the fireworks challenge is coming up. Where are my fireworks? Here they are. The fireworks challenge is coming up here, and all the people that are members of my classes should probably be working on a design with fireworks. So if you have a question, you want to, how do you do that? This would be a great time. So at Wednesdays, come by if you've got questions. I'm happy to answer them. And these were some of my fireworks designs that I did for the class last month. Every month we have a new challenge for members of the Sunset of the FTCU workshop, number 4. And so come on by and see me on Wednesdays. Otherwise, this will be our last free font Friday as the news, I guess, you guys. Not our last free font. It's not our last free font. Every Friday is free font Friday at Sunset Stitches. Just not going live through the summer months. And then in the wintertime, we'll see. Once I'm going to be traveling. And so maybe on the weeks I'm not traveling, I'll do some embroidery recipe box on Friday, which was kind of what I was originally doing. So that's my news. And so it's great to see you guys. And so really nice to see you guys, Robin and Chris. And it's nice. I appreciate you visiting every Friday. And so hopefully you'll just be able to make the Wednesday ones. And if not, the Wednesday ones are all available on my website, any kind of time. But so let's I'm going to go on my screen and show you guys a few things that I kind of prepared. And if you have any questions, just go ahead and type them in. I got Nicholas here. You can let me know. But thank you, Nick. So this is the font of the week. Let's see. I'm going to just clean up my distractions here. Sorry. So Vava Viking. It's an all capital font. And so right away, that means you need to type in capital letters. Like if you type in Trevor with a capital T and a lowercase r, then you won't get the lowercase r just won't be part of it. I'll show you what I mean. But it's kind of, if you own the software, then that's something you probably know already. But yeah, I do the embroidery recipe box segments. And so that's what I was thinking going forward. We might still plan some of those for our Fridays, but rather than just going live Friday with no purpose other than to chat to you guys, I thought I would like to go more purposely when I do go live, is kind of what I'm saying. So this is the R&K Software Club website. And the main reason why I wanted to have it up is just because I wanted to point out that this is all of the different videos that you can watch. And there are so many amazing ones. And now that we've kind of updated the website to have a great search feature, you really can get a taste for how many videos there are. But if you go to Creative Express, there's a great set of training videos. This is their free program. So these are all, there's like 2 pages of training videos for the free program. But if I go back to R&K, I could go into the, Sketch-a-Stitch. And, now I can click on Sketch-a-Stitch training videos. And these are all videos that are specific to Sketch-a-Stitch. So that's pretty cool. If I click on the S for Sketch-a-Stitch, I go back to the Sketch-a-Stitch page where I could maybe do, find out more things, like get the user manual, or find out about, maybe you need to download the latest version of it. And of course, you can always go to the home, page by clicking at the top, home, go back to the beginning. So this is where, if you own any Floriani software, you need to go. But if you're just new here today, this is where you have to go to download to get the Creative Express program that's free, right? And if you've purchased Fusion or Lettering Master, all of these programs are kind of the same download. Once you click on Creative Express, there's a button to download it, and that button takes you to the same page for FTCU or Total Quilter or Sketch-A-Stitch, Lettering Master, Rainbow, Creative Express, and Fusion. These are all things that if you click here to start downloading, you could activate them. Is really what it comes down to, is what can you activate? So when I bring up my embroidery software, and it's closed right now, so I'm going to just go ahead and start it, and it'll take a minute to open up. And what'll come up for me is all of it, right? Because I've acquired all of them. Of course I have. I'm the software manager for R&K Distributing, you guys. Of course I have all of the software, but you may only have portions of it, right? And I think is kind of the point there. So if I close the Today page, it will open up into an empty workspace, and I'm ready to work. What did I close? It was called the Today page. Here, I can get it back. It's under the Help menu. My Floriani Today. I was kind of joke because it says the Today page, but we seem to never update it, so there's nothing new. But I'm hoping that in the future we'll use this page more readily. That R&K will put news on there and updates and stuff like that. So yeah, let me take a sip of my coffee here. Nicholas made me a coffee, so that was nice of him. Thank you, Nick. Okay, so you can close this, but really what it has is links to like open a support ticket or download the software. Well, I guess that means get the updates kind of thing. But there's a forum, for software owners where you can ask questions and you can talk to other software owners, basically. What are the current specials from Floriani? Where can you see some events? What are the latest news and announcements? That kind of stuff, stabilizer support. So it's got links to it. But so when you're done looking at it, unless you want to go to one of these links, you close it. That's sort of my point. And then you're in. You got your software open. And what I was trying to say is if you depending on what you bought, you'll know. You go to the Help and you go to the License Activator. And when you go into this License Activator, there's like a drop-down menu that you can choose. And mine is limited because I've activated the Universal Bundle, which basically means kind of all of it. But when you first activate it, it will have a list. Or when you first install it, it'll have a list. And the ones that you kind of acquire, you can turn on. Is kind of the idea. So if you never bought anything, it'll be called Creative Express, and that's a small program that has some of the main tools. It gives you the ability to open and save an embroidery design in any format, gives you ability to change their colors, a handful of things that you could do with the free one, including the basic text tool, which is how you can get the Stitch-A-Tie or the Sunset Stitches fonts, So if I go on my web browser and I go to the Sunset Stitches website, I can go to the home page, and this is where all of the things that you could choose are on the menu at the top for Sunset Stitches, including fonts. And that's where every Friday there's a free font right there. Just get it. Go ahead and download it right now, Trevor. Just click on it. There you go. And now it's probably going to download. See, there's all my downloads, right? Everything that I've been downloading, and it's downloaded. Now it's done. It's in my downloads folder. I can close this. I know right where it is, kind of thing. And it's a zip file is what it is. It's actually a zip file. So before I can do anything with it, I'll need to unzip it. So let me show you guys how you get the fonts, okay? And so I need to go to my the little file folder that comes with Windows. It's called File Explorer, and I open it, and there'll be a place called Downloads. I know that that's where the file's going to be, right alongside of everything else that I've downloaded. It'll probably be the top of the list, the most recent thing that I downloaded. And I can see that it's a zip file because it kind of has a small zipper over the icon of it. If I hover over it, it says it's a compressed zip file. If I click on it, notice an option at the top comes up for extract all. And I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. And it asks you, where do you want to extract it? And right now it's kind of just pointing right here at the downloads folder, and that's fine. It doesn't matter where you extract it. You just need to do this sort of process. So I'm going to leave it right where it is. Of course, you could change where that was if you wanted to. But now what we have is a folder that has two things in it, a help file. If you look in there, here's the instructions on how to download it, and links to pages to learn more. And then the font itself, and it's a .ast file. Now, sometimes people think they're just going to click on the AST file and it's going to install it, but that's not how it works. Windows has no idea what to do with an AST file. It might try Adobe, but that's not right. And even if you use the Floriani software, you don't open it. Even if I said open and I went right to that folder, the one that's in my, it's going to be under downloads. There's the folder. And I look in it, there's no file, Trevor. Where is it? Well, AST is not a format that Floriani can open. And so then you're confused. Well, what do you do with it? You import it. And it's an asset. And so it's under the tools drop-down menu where you need to choose the option to import assets. And and it's not import designs because it's not a set of embroidery designs. It's an actual font that you'll be able to use with the font tool once you import it. And so you say import assets. And when you choose import assets, now you can choose where it is. Okay, let me see. It's on my downloads, right? That will be, usually I can find that over on the side here, right? Oh, there it is, downloads. Oh, there's the folder. Look inside. Now I can see the file. It's vavaviking.ast. And when I click on it, I say open. And a window opens up. And essentially all I have to do is say, okay, I don't have to do anything more, but you can look if you want. You can peek at it, be like, well, what am I getting? What's in this, Trevor? Oh, it's a font. It's called vavaviking. It's red. Why is it red? Well, it's red because I have it. I already have it. So it comes up red. If you didn't have it, it would not be red. It would be white, and it would have a check mark beside it automatically. So it knows if you already got it. If you get a font twice or something like that, it's like you can get, if they come up red, you can just know, oh, guess I already got this one. If by chance somebody else has also made a font that's called vavaviking, then I guess what you could do is you could click on it here and then change its name to be vavaviking 2. Now it comes up as like white. And here something's giving me a little trouble with my mouse. There you go. Sorry. And now it turns out white. And you could check it off and be like, now it would actually import the font, and I would have 2 of them, vavaviking, but I would also have vavaviking 2. So I don't need to have vavaviking 2, so I can just say cancel. But if I wanted it, I would say okay. I guess the other option would have been to have checked overwrite existing file, and that would have written over the font that I originally had with the new one. So that's another way to use the tool. But I think it's an awesome part of the Floriani tool. Any person that owns the Floriani software could use their tools and their font importer to create their own font, based on embroidery designs that they had bought or collected. And then they could make it into a font and then share it as an AST file. So I think that's one of the coolest things about Floriani, is that you can import and export assets. And so I thought we'd kind of just quickly go over that today. And so I'm going to come back on camera again and be like, so what do you think of that? Your picture is over important asset. Oh, sorry. Nick fixed that already. Got it. I see. The reality is most people here today know that already, because this is font number 24 isn't it? And we've done it before. And so you probably are getting good at it by now, right? Because if you're collecting them, you're getting good at it. The one thing I did do, because let's face it, if you join today or if you're like brand new member, and do I have to click on each one and install them one at a time? No. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to go back, bring me back big again, Nick, but I'm going to go back to the Sunset Stitches website. So yes, you can visit every week to hit embroidery fonts and see that there's a font on the week. But below that, you'll see that there's a Sunset Font Archive page. And that's where you can get all of the previous ones that we've made by just clicking on the link right here. And then you'll need to be a member, and so what that means is you can be either a member of two things, the FTCU workshop or Trevor and Friends Embroidery Club season 2. So the Trevor Trove is one of the things that some people have collected that is like a bundle that includes kind of everything. And so if you got the Trevor Trove, then that means you too. But what I'm saying is I would need to log in to be able to get to that page. So I'll go ahead and log into my account so I can show you what it looks like. I have to be able to answer a skill testing question, but once I'm finally into the website, I can see what memberships I have, and I can go to workshop for member download page, or I can go to the embroidery fonts and then go to the font archive page. So once you're logged in, you can go to whatever I guess you have have access to. But in this case, anybody who has access to my workshop 4 has access to the font archive page. And the other thing I said was if you were a member of Embroidery Club Season 2, you would have member access to the archive page. And that also includes the Digitalk pages. So Digitalk is kind of the other live, when I go live on Wednesday, I include designs, right? Because that's why I cut the Wet Friday one, because the Friday one, you're going to get the font anyways. But the Wednesday one, I always did a few designs for the one. And so these are all the downloads of the Wednesday ones. But notice what I do is after there's like 10 of them, I'll do one download for the whole thing. And it's the same thing with the fonts. If you go to your font archive page, you'll notice that you can download fonts 1 to 20 all in one file. So if you download this, and it'll be a zip file, so you'll then you'll extract it, and then you'll take the asset file and you'll import it, and instead of one font, it'll be the first 20 all in one time. So it makes it easy to kind of import them all at one shot. If you have picked up 6, 8, 10, and 15, but not the rest of them, it knows which ones you need and which ones you don't. And it works out pretty good that way. So yeah. So I always like to talk a little bit about text in absence of any other questions. So like I said, I'm willing to answer questions for everybody that has shown up with us live today. So maybe go ahead and ask them in there, and I will be happy to change my topics. But I'm just sipping my hot coffee while it's still hot. Isn't this cool that, yeah, it's a font, but I mean, I want to explain how this is not just a bunch of embroidery designs. You can come in here and here, let's make this in inches. And you can tell it to be a 1-inch, letter and click apply, and it will generate all new stitches. But you could be like, well, maybe I'll go 1/2 inch and click apply, and it'll make, all new stitches, but obviously much smaller. And so it's not like when you buy a font and it's really made up of, letters that are, let's put it this way, you don't need to bring it in and have the 1-inch size, the 2-inch size, the 3-inch size, the 4-inch size. One font will do. You can make it any size you want. But what happens if you want to make it bigger, Trevor? Well, you type in, 2 inches and you click apply. But in this case, I might get a warning. You've made satin stitches that are in excess of 10 millimeters, Trevor. That's a setting in the software. If you don't like it, you can turn it off if you find that alarming, like, well, what's this warning? But it's just simply telling me that some of my satin stitches are getting really long. And I know that there's lots of easy ways to deal with that. Probably my favorite way would be to select it and come to the properties box and turn on a split. It's called quality control. It's turned off right now, but you can do a middle split or a random split or a percentage split. If I do random, it kind of softens the split and it only puts it where it needs it. So if it's fat enough, it'll get it. But if it's not fat, it won't get it. And down here in the tips of the letters, it's not getting it, but in the fat parts of the letters, it's getting it. So if you like that appearance, you're ready to go. Some people are like, I don't like that it's not splitting here. Why is it splitting there and not splitting here? Well, you could, right? You could open up your properties box and you can come to your split tab and you could change the distance, right? It's currently set at 7, which means that these stitches here are less than 7. They're not splitting. If I make that 6 and click apply, you'll see more of it. Look, that's almost all of it. Now I can see just a tiny little bit that looks like it's still not splitting, but I don't mind it. Honestly, I think that's fine. And I like that it's not splitting all the way to the tip. So, okay, you get to decide. Maybe you're like, well, that's fine, but I'm going to make it 5, and then it's like 5 is my maximum satin distance. So this part of the letter is satin, but this part of the letter is split. But here you can see that because it's become so wide, now it's splitting twice. See that? And here it's splitting once, and it randomizes it, because if you do a more of a middle split, it'll be more pronounced. Have a very defined line, which I often choose because I'm like, oh, that's cool. And that's totally different. And it still has the split only happening where I get to set the distance. So the point is I can use this font to any size I want, and I get to decide how it looks, not whoever, made the font originally. If you're like, I don't like either of those, Trevor, I prefer a pattern like smooth fill for my large size text. Well, then you come to your properties box and you go to the purple tab where it's the type of stitch and you change it from a satin to be a pattern fill and you click apply. And now it's a pattern fill. So you can have any kind you want, and any color you want, just click on your color palette and change the palette. So I think that's what's cool. So now literally this font could be used absolutely any size that you want to. You can envelope it, which means you can add cool, lettering effects. Like an envelope means you change the sort of outer shape of the text, and then the embroidery fits to that shape. It fills to it. And so that's kind of a unique thing that you can do that allows you to create really unique sort of lettering envelopes. If I want, I can make my letter envelopes be, I'm just kind of playing with this a little bit here. There's a right click menu is what I was going to say that I could choose from, but I just wanted to show like how much I can really change the shape of a piece of embroidery text. If I want, I can select it. You need to right click to go into edit text, and then you can get that frame. That's when you get the handles that I was playing with. And if I right click, I can be like, let's just reset that, back to the beginning again. It'll go back to kind of straight. But then you can also right click and be like, what are the other envelopes? And you can try ones that are already made, that are pre-made. So it's going to curve them for you. And of course, you can then increase the effect yourself. So if you like the one that kind of goes like that. So I think that these are all kind of things that are about text, and about using the text. I think last week we did like a custom baseline with the text, but did you get any questions for me there, young Nicholas son?
I don't know if this is related to what you're doing, but will you candy ball? I'll just let you do it.
Cindy, yeah. Will you post which styluses I use? How about Nick? Does he use one too? Oh, okay. I get it. You mean this little baby here? Bring me big, Nick, and take Cindy's question off. Good question, Cindy. She's got a new laptop. Sounds like it's a touch screen, and she's asking about a stylus, which is a stylus is a type of mouse, right? And it'll work on a touch screen. So this one's a Wacom bamboo pen. I bought it at Best Buy in the US for around $40 or something like that. I want to say it's got a button on it somewhere. And it's a pen, right? It's not an actual pen that writes, it's a stylus. But you can click to, I can just click on the start menu or click on an email. It's like a mouse. Wherever you click is a left click. There's no right click on it, but there is a little button that you can use. So it depends on the program, whether the right button does anything or not, but it has the left click is what it is. And with Floriani, you can use it to draw. And I use mine a lot. Only I got a new, so that's what I use on my, I also have a pen display. So a pen display is like a monitor that you can plug into any computer, and then it's touchscreen. So you can even make a touchscreen Mac. Yeah, like I've connected it to my MacBook, and it's like everybody's like, can't get a touchscreen MacBook. Yes, you can. You buy a touchscreen external drive and you connect it to your Mac, and then you can have it. But that said, what I do like the most probably is my touchscreen laptop. I bought a small one so that it's easy to pick up. It's actually right here on my desk. I'm not currently using it, but Loren often uses it. Nick's used it on times. It was small. It's like a 13-incher, and it had its own stylus. I liked that about it. It's like it came with one, kind of reminded me of my first touch. I had a cell phone that had a stylus like that. Did you have a cell phone with a stylus in it? But what's cool about this is it's a laptop, right? But it's touchscreen, right? So I can touch it. But what I like to do when I do my sketching is I like to turn it around like this. And so see how it's hinged? And I don't close it to be like a book. I keep it like a pedestal, like a stand. So I can set it on the desk and my monitors faces me and I can draw on it, and it's kind of rigid, but I usually end up holding one hand kind of behind it and the other hand I write with. Does that make sense? So I'll have this one here and I'll be like, drawing on it. So we'll have to have a class like that, and I'll come and do that. I'll sit here, hold it, and show you guys how I can. But I mean, it's not entirely like, and at that point, then yeah, if you're going to hold it, you might as well close it. And now it's like an actual tablet style laptop that I could, now it's gone to sleep on me, but I could log in and I could get the software up and I could do it that way. So, so what you want to check is you want to buy your stylus from someplace that's returnable, because maybe it won't work with your laptop. I can't guarantee that, is what I'm going to say. What I know is this Wacom one doesn't work with my new laptop. So go figure. It worked with my old one, and I don't know why it does. But this one has its own stylus, so I wasn't too worried about it. But now this one still works with my display that I bought. Worked with the external display that I bought. It just didn't work with my new laptop. Don't know why. Maybe there's a setting I can turn on that will make it work. I never worried about it because it had its own. So but that's a real fun thing. Like for anybody that owns embroidery software, I often get asked about what kind of computer do you use, Trevor? So hey Mary, she's in Cleveland. How's it going? I'm full screen with you guys. We're just a little over half an hour in. I don't have a specific lesson planned, for Free Font Friday. I always like to interact with you guys a little bit. So if you're here and you're live and you own the Floriani software, or even if you don't and you want to know how to get it, or you want to know how to get my fonts, or you have any other topics that you'd like to talk about, I just want you guys to know how much we appreciate you guys coming. It's great. We love that you come live, and we love all the comments after the live. it's always fun. And so we hope that everybody will still come for Wednesday. But just with it being Friday, I think that there's a very good possibility I'm going to be missing some Friday afternoons if I can get my way. So we decided to continue to post the font every Friday. And I got to say, this week's font's pretty cool. The Vava Viking. I could totally see lots of uses for that. I always do a stitch out to test it out, but that's about it. I've gotten, I check them. Nicholas makes them. I just check them, make sure I like the start and stop points and that. Yeah. Mary says, are you going to be doing a tutorial on the embossing technique? As a matter of fact, Mary, we did. And I did a font for it and I showed how to do it. Not only that, we did it live and I made a shirt, 2 of them, in fact, in 1 hour. During that 1 hour presentation, me and my kid Loren was here and Nick, and you can watch it now. Let me show you how to find that. Here, bring my screen back on, will you, Nick? And perfect. I'm going to go to my website. So you're going to want to go to sunsetstitches.com. And up at the top, right, okay, these are the things that you have to buy. FTCU workshop and embroidery club. Those are things that you can join. Season 1, season 2, workshop 1, 2, 3, 4. But embroidery fonts, those are the font every week is free unless you get, the archives. Same thing with the Digitalk, free, and the embroidery recipe box, free. And embroidery recipe box is where we did we called it embossed lettering and raised look embroidery. That's what it was. So yeah, join Loren and Trevor in the studio. You click right here and there's a video. And we do it. We actually make a shirt or 2 in the studio. We go into the studio and we use the tools. And I will say I've watched it and I know that we'll do a little better the next time. We'll learn from the adventure of going into the studio. But really the desire is to do more of this. Literally, if I felt like if I was going to continue to go live, I'd rather do embroidery recipe box than more of these free font Fridays, because I don't have a purpose with the free font Friday other than to go live and talk about the free font. And I feel like I could probably accomplish that with a little video. So all that said, you can expect the embroidery recipe box to come out, but it may not be on a set schedule. We may do them live because we do like to go live, but we may also just release some videos and call it an embroidery recipe box, because Nicholas and I have been talking about making more purpose-made video, and shorter videos too, right, Nick? Not always just long form. Dad likes to talk, and I like to do this. But I think what would be more, impactful for learning specific things would be to chunk it and make smaller things, little digestible bits of cool information is what we'll probably do more of. Yeah. So, so that was a great episode, wasn't it? She did the word USA. Cindy did the word USA. That's awesome. Did you see that? Good for you, Cindy. It wasn't hard to do once you figured it out, but the trick was the sticky, because I knew I did a bunch of samples, even though I kind of knew I'd already watched a video and I kind of knew what I was going to do. I wanted to know whether it mattered, and that's kind of who I am. I always kind of have a thirst to learn. And so I took the time to get to actually do the learning the hard way, right? And make the samples. I think I sewed 6 or 8 of them before I finally arrived at my recipe that I wanted to share. It's one thing when you're just doing it for a quick present, but if you're going to share a recipe, you kind of want to know that you got a good recipe, right? Not just one that you did once and it worked out, so I'll just tell everybody kind of thing. So there was some settings that I worked out with the offsets and how to do it and when to do it, and there was options to it because you don't have to do it the way I did it. So I tried to teach. So thank you for saying the piece fish was awesome. The whole thing came together really quickly, that one, because it wasn't one that we've been doing for ages. We were inspired by other samples that we saw, and so, I was like, that looks, the reason I thought that would be cool is because of our sticky. I was like, oh man, that guy is struggling with his fusible on that video, and I am all about the sticky. It's not that I don't love my fusible, because I do. And it's funny because I went to a party last night. Tell you guys a little story. I'm pretty sure she's at work right now, so she won't be watching. But I met an embroiderer at a party. Either my friends are getting older, because I used to always say, most people that do embroidery are more my mom's age than my age, kind of thing. And I'm already 55, so but the girl that I met looked more like she was 30 than 55. I'm not 55. I keep pushing my age down. The other day I tried to tell my daughter I was 52. I'm 56. You got to remember when you get to be 56, or you're going to start telling all kinds of fibs. But the point is, I met this Lorna's a teacher, and it was like today's the last day, right? They're done. And she had bought an embroidery machine, one of the teachers, and knew that I knew a little bit about embroidery. She didn't have any idea what I do or what it was all about or how much I know. And I was like, oh my God, are we going to talk about embroidery? Because I'm just going to never shut up. I'm ready to go. And this never happens at the social settings for me. So when I travel, that's why I love traveling, because I meet people that are like me, that love embroidery, that do it. But here at home, there are some, but I don't typically run at them at my slow pitch games. And to be honest, I just don't go out very often. But Lorna took me to a party, and so it was kind of fun to be able to talk about stickies and fusibles at the teacher party. I actually brought a gift. I brought her my favorite. I have not shown you guys this yet, but I'm going to show it to you someday soon. It's my really quick and easy lace bowl. It's a down and dirty one that doesn't take long to stitch out, and it's flat, so there's no construction required. And you make it by wetting it and drying it over a breakfast bowl, so it takes the shape of whatever bowl you put it on. And I often take it as a gift to a supper. If I get invited to a nice thing and somebody's a host, I'll stitch one out, and I usually do it in a variegated. I had a cool shirt on, and I stuck it in my pocket like it was like a puff or something. And then when the host was visiting with me, because I didn't interrupt her, but when she came around, I was like, I brought you a gift, and I brought it out of my shirt. And I said, but you have to guess what it is. What do you think it is? She didn't know. A little round circle. Imagine it, right? It's a round circle. There's got to be a picture, but it's a round circle. It's all, I've never shown it. I don't think it's not an embroidery club yet. I didn't do it. It's one of the things that's coming to a future embroidery club download too. When we finally get the last downloads out for embroidery club season 2, you'll learn about my quick and easy lace bowl. But it's so she's maybe it's a dishcloth as well. It kind of looks like a dishcloth, If you get it wet, it won't look like a dishcloth anymore. But it was, how wet and gone is, right? You get it wet, and it's they were thrilled. She found just the right bowl. It had just a nice size bottom to it and had kind of a pretty fluted top to it. And she pinched it a little bit. So I hope, I said, when you wake up in the morning, just take your bowl out of it and you'll have a lace bowl. It's a really cool one. It's a super easy to make project. And really, you don't need a design, because you can kind of design them. It's you can do it in the software. So it's a technique. So I will teach it. I haven't ever taught it. It's one of those things that you do, and then you're like, oh, I got to remember where to do that. And it just hasn't fit in yet. But I've been doing it for years. Like the actual designs of the bowls I've done 10 years ago, I bet I did that. And I've given a lot of them away. So anyway, Danny got one last night at the party. What's the comment? Lisa's comment. where's the best place to divide a landscape quilt that is 10 inches by 20 inches? How do I split something that is complicated and line everything up? 51,712 stitches, and there doesn't seem to be a good place to split. Woo! Yeah, that's a good one, Lisa. Holy macaronio. Okay, here's the question. I'm fighting you, Nick. Sorry. Lisa, did you make this design or is it bought? Because I think it's going to matter. There's an easy way to do it if it's a bought one, but it may not be your favorite way. You can convert the design into outlines, and then it will, you can use the splitting tool to do that. Lisa said she made it. So if it's one that you made, and if you're making it with the intention to split it, then you can actually, during the process of making it, make some choices, and do some things to make it easier to, and what you really want to plan is how much of a margin there'll be. So let's just say that you're going to unhoop and rehoop your project, and you're going to do it in 2 hoopings, or perhaps you've got a hoop that has a left side and a right side that has an overlap, and you just simply need to move it back and forth. I've also got hoops that you have to rotate, so you do one side and then you rotate the whole hoop and you do the other side. And in all of those cases, there needs to be an area of overlap. We don't typically just split it and then put it together like that. We need to have the area that says this could be in this side or that side. And the bigger you make that area, the easier it is to divide it. So if your largest hoop is 10 inches and you really only need to make a 12-inch design, you could easily have a great, 6-inch area that was overlap between hooping 1 and hooping 2. If your largest hoop is 10 inches and you're trying to do a design that's 18 inches, and really you're only going to end up with about an inch in between the 2 hoops where you have to unhoop and rehoop. Or if it's a multi-hoop hoop like the rotational ones, then you can usually there'll be a range, depending on the hoop shape and size, there'll be a range that you get to work with. And sometimes you have some control over how much of it you use, right? Or how much of it's needed. But that's really the trick of it, Lisa, is, if you're going to let the software do the work, and it's going to split it, there's a splitting tool and it can decide. If I was going to make a design that was multi-hooped, I might be tempted to design all of one side and then design all of the other side and just decide where I'm splitting it. And I may not split it in a line. I might make part of it come over here and part of it come over there, and they all fit together when you rehoop. So then the question becomes, how do you align your rehooping? And that's difficult to teach without being kind of brand specific, because for Floriani, what we have, if you use the split tool, there's the option for the alignment tool, alignment stitches. And the alignment stitches will be a cross, like a little X, that will sew in the margin. So if your margin is 2 inches, and if this is your hoop and there's a 2-inch area down the middle that's got, both is overlapped, then in the lower sort of corner, there'll be a cross, and in the upper opposite corner, there'll be a cross. And those will be the last stitches of the first design. And then there'll be the first stitches of the second design, so that you can, no matter how you're rehooping, when you get there and you push start, you can check it. You'd be like, oh, the first stitches didn't line up. My cross is not lining up. So now okay, fine. Then you need to realign until that cross lines up. And that realigning can be done in a variety of ways, whether that be, and some of the machines have cameras and you can just shoot it put the hoop and shoot the camera and move the design over and line it up perfectly. In kind of the more industrious kind of prosumer multi-needle that I have, it does not have a camera, and so I have to do that myself. I use the alignment marks of the hoop to figure out the center of design 1 and figure out the center of design 2, and then I mark the points. I'm like, okay, so I need to have 7 I need to have a cross, like a chalk mark, here and 7 inches away here, you know, and I need to know what's straight so that when I hoop number one, I hoop it to that chalk mark and I unhoop and I rehoop. You know, and then when it starts to sew, the little alignment marks are just to check if it's perfect, you know, and if you've done really good hooping, but it's not quite perfect, a lot of times there's little nudge arrows and this, you know, that you can just nudge the design that little bit and then just align your alignment mark up. So if you don't have the technology on your machine, Lisa does. She's got a Solaris, right? So with the Solaris, then what you're going to do is you're going to create design one, you're going to create design two. If it's like outside of your hoop size, so you're literally doing something that's, you know, like 20 inches wide and your biggest hoop is only 14 kind of thing, then you're going to have your overlapping area of your design, make it as big as you can. And then you don't have to let the software do the splitting. You know, you can sort of like create a guideline in the software where you can say, okay, this is one hoop and that's one hoop and this is the overlapping area, and you can kind of work your way through the colors of the design and decide where the more logical place that doesn't have to be exactly the same place. You know, as long as, in fact, making it a straight line kind of makes your whole design look quite dividable. So, you know, the good news is if it's one you made, then the shapes are already there. The challenge will become if you made a shape that is in both hoopings. You may have to split them. And that's where the splitting tool is nice because the software can split the shapes up. So it automates it really. Is the reality is if you use the wizard, you kind of lose control. You just go, okay, here's my shape. Here's where I want it, split it, you know, like that. But if you designed it, and Lisa's like, of course I designed it. And I know because you're an amazing designer and I see a lot of your things that you make on social media and I'm always really inspired. But so, and for all the challenges too, of course, but so I'm saying is how you split it is a choice. You can use the wizard and then you kind of get what you get. It's going to do, and you can, the only thing you can really do to change it is do things like enhance how much of the area that it overlaps. And it works pretty good, you know, for most designs. But where I think, you know, you could do better is if you're designing it yourself, is if you plan it, you know, if you know in advance and you know that as you do it, you're kind of cognizant of where this area is, then you can always make sure that you do the pieces so that they don't, what you really don't want is to have a fill that goes all the way across the whole bottom of the hoop, right? If it might need to look that way, but it's going to have to be divided at some point. If there's a banner that goes all the way across the bottom, you have to divide the banner, you know, and that's, so you're right. That would be a good, like maybe that's a good challenge, you know, or something, the split a design challenge. The reality is the hoops kept getting bigger and then the topic of splitting designs became less often. Because in the early days of home embroidery, that was like the rage. It was like if you knew how to split a design and if you had a program that could do it for you, that was the best because all we had was the 5x7 hoop, right? Like my friend that I met last night at the party, that's all she's got is a 5x7 hoop. And I said, well, just so you know, if you really love this hobby, it kind of keeps going. And there, you know, the machines just get bigger and better and you get more thread and some more stabilizers. But I said, come on over this summer and I'll show you around because I don't get many visitors here at Sunset Stitches. In fact, over the I've been in the basement of my home here since 2008, and I can only think of about 2 people that I actually had into my home that weren't family or friends. But Floyd came from Kelowna. So sad to say that Floyd passed away. I think it was in 2019 or 2018, but Floyd was a friend. You make a lot of friends through the internet, and I love all the friends that I make through the internet, and Floyd was a really great one. He had a Melco, a Maya, and he had the Genome software, and at the time I was teaching with that, and we made good friends. And anyway, he dropped by one time, and there was a girl from Australia that came in here. I want to say her name was Anne, but boy, oh boy, that's so long ago I can barely remember if that's even her name. But I've got a beautiful coaster that she left over there on my table. So yeah, maybe you guys will get to visit me someday. Maybe by then I'll be out of my basement. And I often think, should I do something that would give Sunset Stitches a proper home out of my house? But I just love it being here because you don't know how often I work after hours, you guys, like evenings and weekends. So when you're, embroidery studios in your home, it's ideal. Of course, it doesn't cost you any money, right? It's part of the, already paid the rent. So, but it would be cool to have a lot more space to have. I have way more embroidery machines than I could possibly set up. I have a long arm quilting sewing machine over there that really doesn't have the proper amount of space. There's supposed to be a TV over there that nobody ever watches because we've totally encroached upon the space to watching it. And so, yeah, space would be nice, I guess. And then I could have people in, right? So it could be like actually visit or something. But yeah, what I'm saying is you can technically visit here, but I'm not inviting everybody to my house because it's a disaster down here. We had water come in from the rains once in a while down here. So it might look like mild chaos, but sometimes it's worse than it looks. I'm having fun today. Listen, it's so great that everybody came and chatted with us today, and I hope they'll continue to come every Wednesday. But we're gonna stop doing Free Font Friday live, and we'll focus in on having a nice little video that I'll put out, sometime on Friday, along with, of course, the update of the website. So you'll still be able to come and get a new font. That said, we may pop up throughout the summer with a few things that were different, that we haven't got decided upon yet. But yeah, you know what I mean? Some embroidery recipe box stuff. Because I think that was the fun. When I look at all the videos that I'm doing, I say that's what I'm really kind of more attracted to, is what I'm saying. So we'll continue to do live stuff. So don't feel disappointed, but you'll still get a font every Friday, and it's still Free Font Friday, but we're not going to go live. And the reality is I hope that by Friday in the afternoon, I'm at the lake enjoying it, because summer is short here in Saskatchewan, and I am so excited to say I have a very busy fall. A lot of the stores that I know have responded now, and I can honestly say that there's probably only room for maybe one more event yet this year, before I'll be talking to people about next year. And I've already got several planned for next year. So the good news is I'm going to be lots of places. And there's lots more places that I can think of that I would like to be. And so if it's not in 2024, I still have lots of spaces in 2025. So if you have a favorite sewing store, if you've met me before, if you hope I'm coming back soon, I'm working on a new program for the fall, all new designs, all new projects, nothing that I've shown before. So it's going to be kind of a fun new thing, and I'm excited for it. So as always, that's, it's fun to start something different. And it doesn't mean I'm never doing patches anymore or postcards and all that. But the presentation that I'm planning will be different, and you guys will learn about it as I start to do the presentations. But I can tell you that I will soon update the website with more details. But I will quickly show you before I go, if you would bring me big again, Nick. You just bring me big for 1 second, then you can ask the question. The Sunset Stitches website. See where it says dates and times. This is the best place. If you're not sure, is he live today or not? Is it dark for any reason or something? Come here. FTC Workshop 4, if you're a member, these are the next 3 classes. Digitalk, that's the next class. Free Font Friday and Embroidery Recipe Box. Anything that's going on, you'll find about it here, kind of thing. And any new live events that I'm going to be, like in San Marcos in September and Crestview, Florida in September, I will post these here soon. And then, of course, there's Sioux Falls in October, and there's more, but I just don't have the details in my head. Okay, bring me big again, Nick. Sorry about that. And then did you say you had a question before I say goodbye to everybody? What email addresses will I get the email for the Stitchitize set? Denise, my dad should be helping you with that. And if you haven't heard from him, send him another email and copy me, because I'll call him or whatever and be like, have you helped Denise yet, Dad? But so what Denise is asking me about is the Stitchitize collection. And thank you so much, because I think you said you ordered that last week. So what happens is my dad is very focused on getting them in the mail. and he's sometimes less organized about replying to the emails. And so I've noticed that. But he knows if you want to get the download, because you don't have to wait for you'll wait for the book to come in the mail, but he will email you the designs. He just asked me the other day to send them all again, because I made Jeff and I made PES and I made DST. And I said, let me know if you need more than that. But the disc, of course, has all the formats on it. It was just, I made a download that was just the one format, kind of thing. So it would be less to download, because it's quite a big thing, the file for it all. It's 2,800 designs, but there's also the whole color catalog on there. But I think the cool thing is you get the book right here. I've got mine right here. I always keep mine handy. I sew these Stitchetized designs myself a lot. I was wearing my dogs the other day, the Celtic dogs that were in there. There's lots of like those cool angels and butterflies, and there's farm animals. This collection's got lots of these things. This is the first 34 embroidery collections that I ever created at Stitchetized, and that's so. Nowadays, I don't really work there per se anymore, but it's really, I'm still kind of one of the people. It's a family business, and it's my mom and my dad. And it's there's a great website, but this is on my website, right? The link to it. So he'll, if you didn't get an email at all from him, please copy me on it, or it's george@stitchetized.com. That's who you want to email. And then I'm, of course, I pushed, it was me.
That was probably 1 minute ago. Just
It was me. I muted it. Sorry, Denise. I was just saying, I'm sure that my dad will send it, but if you want it, I don't know where it went dark, but well, it was Denise's question was simply, how do you get the download? And you can email me, but I can't send it to you. My dad will. So if you copy us both, and then if he doesn't respond, I can follow up for you and be like, Dad, did you respond? Because then maybe he did respond and you didn't get it, was what I was saying. Sometimes company, if you're with Gmail or SBC Global or whatever, sometimes those companies can block certain email addresses if they think you're spam. You know what I mean? So yeah. Yeah, Denise says no rush. No, but that said, Denise, follow up, because he's normally pretty punctual. What I'm saying about my dad is he normally does everything really quickly, like within a day. So if you haven't heard, there's a problem. Yeah, is what I'm going to say. Is write again and just say, hey, I didn't hear from you. I'm looking for the download, and copy me, and then I'll call him. And I see, how's it going, Dad? Anyway, it's nice helping them a little bit, because they're just slowly retiring and just finally getting to the point where he's got enough sort of focus on it to get some of this stuff out. But Nick and I went out there, and he thought he had a box of them. Well, there was boxes and boxes of this stuff. Beautiful catalogs. I mean, the catalog's really the biggest value of it. Not that the designs aren't, but the designs are always there. The books are something that's really kind of timeless, right? We wouldn't print those again ever, kind of thing. But the good news is there's quite a few of them. So anybody who wants one, just I'll put the link in again if you want. Here, let me get it. and put it in before I forget onto the thing. So it's my dad's collection, but it's on our Sunset Stitches website. It's where it is, because I made it to help him figure out how to sell it, because his shopping cart wasn't working on his website or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they're just getting there where it's just struggle. And so I can put that in the comment or whatever. Yeah, and put enter. So okay, so it's great to see everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Of course, this is a long weekend here in Canada because Monday is Canada Day, and so happy Canada Day to everybody on Monday. And then, of course, later on in the week, it's Independence Day, and so happy 4th of July to everybody that's in the U.S. So yeah, summer is finally here, you guys. And we're certainly happy about it up here. It's Free Font Friday. And if you're just tuning in, the font of the week is called Vava Viking. And you guys can come and download it now. It's free for the week. There will be a free font next Friday, but there will not be a live next Friday. There'll be a post instead. So for the next while, you can just expect a free font every Friday and a post. But I will be live on Wednesdays. And so please come and find me on Wednesday for DigiTalk. And in the meantime, thanks so much for coming today, guys. It was great to see you guys. Until next time, have a great day, and bye for now.